how to talk with the camera. How does that work? Because this is basically the key. The key is, in order to build an emotional connection, and this is also what Lola, before where we are going to get there, when it comes to building a connection with many people online. All right. I'm actually going to go one step back, and I'm going to address that first, Lola. How is that when I'm addressing, or when I'm talking suddenly not just to 2, 3, 4, 5, but to hundreds or maybe thousands of people? And because the same also is true to me when I have tens of thousands of people in a stadium, and I'm just looking into a camera and I'm going to be seen on the big screen. The point is, you're never going to have a conversation 1 to 100 or 1 to 10,000 or 1 to 100,000. First of all, our brains cannot handle that. And at the same time, like, who do you want to focus on? You always can just have a conversation 1 to 1, but you can have a conversation 1 to 1 100 times. So what does it mean when you're having this conversation 1 to 1 100 times? It actually means that you are looking at the camera. You are seeing that person, that avatar, that prototype, that key client or that dream client of yours in that camera, as if you're looking and talking to somebody. You're not talking just to a camera. You're talking to someone, and you are talking to somebody as if this person is there, as if this person is real. So the key is to really imagine that there is somebody sitting in the camera, may it be your best friend, may it be your dream customer, but somebody with a heart and soul, somebody that you want to share something with, somebody that you love to talk to. And when you can do that, it does not matter if there are 10 people watching, 100, 10,000, or 10 million, because you're just connected. You're connected to that one person. You're connected to that person, and you're going to have this one-on-one conversation with all of them. So how do you talk with the camera? There are a few key points that you need to think of. The first one is, which is kind of obvious, it is you need to focus on the lens. What does it mean? Here we see a lens on a normal camera. And it's obvious, the lens is like the eye of the camera. So it's like looking into the eye of the other person. How to look into the lens? It should look natural. So if you are looking into a lens, like you're staring into a lens the whole time, it might feel awkward. Like when you're having normal conversation, of course you want to feel connected. But if that person is looking at you the whole time and is staring at you, and I'm there and here and yes, and I got you, I'm here, you might feel, ooh, he's really looking at me. This is maybe a bit too much. But if you're having a casual conversation and maybe looking at, like, thinking and then looking back at the person, it's gonna feel even more connected. No worries, Anna. Awesome that you're listening closely. So that is the first point. Also, when you're having a camera, and many DSLR cameras nowadays have a screen that you can tilt, like that you see yourself on the side or on top. Many of us, what usually needs to happen when you don't have that experience, we love to see ourselves. We love to look at ourselves and look, okay, how am I looking? Is everything correct here on my shirt? How is my hair looking? Is everything fine? You look at the screen and like, okay, how is that? And it's all good. At the same time, when you're looking at the screen, you're not looking into the camera. So you need to differentiate screen and lens. Screen and lens is two different things. You need to look at the lens. Also, even more, it's on the cell phone. Where is the lens on the cell phone? When we go to the next screen, I'm going to show you that here. And we see it here perfectly. You see the woman, and where does the woman look at? Focus on the lens, it says. Where is the lens on a cell phone? Where's the lens on the cell phone? And the lens on the cell phone, as you probably know, yes, on the back is one, yes, but there's also a selfie cam, and there's also a selfie lens. That is, when you're talking, like here, you see yourself, or actually you see the setup with the screen, and you see the camera, and you see the ring light. And when I'm looking at myself, the lens is right up there, exactly next to the point where you're usually listening to it, where usually the sound comes out when you are on a phone call. So right next to it, there's a little dot, which is the lens. So when you're having a video call, recording a video message, many of us, what we tend to do is we look at the screen. We look at the screen where we see ourselves talking, and it's like, oh, great, this is how I look. But that's not the lens. The lens is just above the screen. So it's like a few centimeters or maybe half an inch above, right next to where you're listening, there is the lens. And a great point, again, here comes the sticky note. When instead of watching yourselves, post this or put the sticky note right here on the screen where actually you would see yourself. And then maybe you want to even draw an arrow and with a smiley face to actually point at the lens like this. And you have the arrow with the smiley face and maybe some points here. And then, there's a lens. This is where I'm looking at. The smiley face reminds me that I need to smile. And then those are my key points, 1, 2, 3, and I got it, I delivered it. I'm not looking at me, I'm looking at the lens, and I feel connected. The other person will feel connected to me because the lens is just a symbol of somebody who is on the other side that I'm talking to. Does it make sense? And this is valuable to you. That's actually even more important than if it makes sense. Makes sense, yes, and is it valuable to you? Yes. Perfect. True. Awesome. Because of course we feel more connected when somebody is looking us into the eyes than just looking down below. And so that's the first point, that we need to focus on the lens. The next point here is, what about our body language? So what about our body language? The point is, let me know, when you are doing videos, do you prefer to do it sitting or standing? Do you prefer to use, what is better for you, sitting or standing? Standing. Lola says standing, 100%. Sitting for Anna. I know that Elizabeth, my wife, also, that she actually loves to stand as well. So what is correct for you is you need to figure it out. The point is that whether you're sitting or standing, you need to bring the energy. Oftentimes it's easier to actually tap into your energy, to tap into your whole body energy when you're standing up. But at the same time, when you're sitting, it's better to sit on something, like not on a comfy chair and lean back, but really to sit upright, to bring the energy to the other person. And here's one more key, actually, when it comes to the lens and the position of the camera that we haven't talked about yet. What is critical is, right now you're seeing that the camera is exactly on the level of my eye. So what does it mean? We are having an eye-to-eye conversation. That means we're talking eye to eye. And also when you're having real-life conversations, we oftentimes love to have a conversation eye to eye. And this is the point. Oftentimes, when we have a web call or a Zoom call or something, where is our laptop? Usually a laptop or the computer is on the table. So it stands on the desk. And then there's the webcam on top of the laptop, which is usually, of course, below us. That means we're looking down. We're looking down and we're looking at the other people. How do you feel when you're being looked down at? Oftentimes it doesn't feel so great when the other person is just looking down at us the whole time. So how can we solve that? For example, what you can do, if you have your laptop on your computer, on your desk, to actually put the laptop on a stand. Also, this is going to be in a free resources guide. You can actually elevate your laptop, that it's higher, and that you have the camera on a higher level. Or as I have it, I have an external camera, which is even higher than a laptop, but it's exactly at eye level, so that the other side is going to feel even more connected, because it's this eye-to-eye conversation. I hope this makes sense. And again, when it comes to the body language, it's important that you're able also to move your hands, to use your hands. How should you use your hands? You need to, first of all, be aware of, where is the screen? Like, how big is the screen? How big can I go? This is, in a way, also, for example, a TV presenter has less space to use his hands and to emphasize points compared to somebody who's presenting in an arena, in a stadium, because there you can use the whole body and you can go totally explicit. On camera, you need to be more precise also with your hand movement. You can use it, you can make points. And at the same time, don't make him too big, but make him decisively. So when you're using your hands or when you're using your body, make it decisive. Make it so that as if it was meant to be. I always say for me, the greatest performer who ever was on stage, who ever performed on a stage was, for me personally, Michael Jackson. Because every single movement there was if it was meant to be. And that's how he spellbounded his audience. Another great point about body language is smile. Just simply smile. Like smile more so that you're being felt by your audience. And it might need some training to actually look at the lens and not look at yourself. And even when you're in a web call, usually we try to look down on the other person when we're looking down. For example, right now I'm looking at the screen. And tell me a difference. Right now I'm looking at the screen in terms of the connection from right now to when I'm looking right at you and smiling while you're talking. How do I do that? And we're even going to get more into that in a little while. But how I do it is I need to learn to use my peripheral vision. To use my peripheral vision to also see and feel in a way what the person down there is doing. Like, how is this person reacting? Of course, you can look down from time to time to see exactly what's going on. At the same time, try to focus more on the camera, to be with the other person. I hope that makes sense. And I hope that this is valuable for you.